What's up, everybody? This is Levi Craig with another speed paint video of a watercolor painting I've done. This one is of the Tardis from Doctor Who. And I kind of want to do something kind of fun with this, where you've got this idea that the Tardis is the time machine, right? It goes through time. But you've got multiple dimensions. And while you're going back through time, I kind of like that idea of like a TARDIS within a TARDIS within a TARDIS within TARDIS, kind of just showing that there's possibilities, multiple of them, depending on where in time you are. So I started off in the center of it, where I did a very, very small TARDIS with a TARDIS inside of it, using warm colors, because I kind of wanted to go from warm out to cooler color schemes. So I'm doing that yellow to, it's like a reddish pink, into a purple. And now I'm getting into the bigger TARDIS, which is going to be yellow to a light green, that yellow green that I love to use into that cerulean blue, which is really, really fun too. I enjoy that blue quite a bit. I'm getting into some of the windows where I wanted to create an inner glow too. And, you know, because yellow is kind of boring all by itself. It needs a complement, in my opinion. It's a very important color. I use it for all my focal points. I feel like it's a color of power. You know, wherever there's yellow, there is light, and people are drawn to light. But there needs to be a complement to really make that light pop. I mean, yellow by itself, well, it's very bright, but if you give it a gradient, it really moves well. It really has a better effect on people. And I want to be given a good impact, you know, something that just makes people go, wow, that's cool and different. So for the first TARDIS I have here I did like that yellow to green. And then for the outer one, the biggest one, I went yellow to orange, more warmer. So I'm trying to have this piece under control, because one thing that I have a big issue with is getting my wrists or my, you know, hair all caught up in here as I'm moving it around and blowing on it or doing in the various techniques I got. So I'm trying to work in the upper left-hand corner down, but as you're doing that, you have to layer the colors right, because you need to have your lights down first and then move into your darks. That's why this is looking kind of funky already, because I'm working on the lower portion of these TARDISes, but not the upper, because the upper portion of the TARDISes I want to be dark, you know, and I can't put down the dark stuff until the light stuff is dry. And that's a big inconvenience. I know this is a speed paint video, but I've actually stopped it a number of times and just walked away and let it dry for a minute. I guarantee you. And right now, playing around at the top of it, getting a little bit of the explosion that I want behind all of the TARDISes, which is going to be a very warm color scheme that I like to do. That yellow to orange to into that magenta and violet. And I feel like I just like that that power it gives off from that. But I just did that left side. You know, I left the right side alone because I'm worried about my right hand getting in there. I'm a righty. Sometimes I use my left, actually. Don't use it for details, that's for sure. But I definitely do use my left hand sometimes. Not that that's important. Everyone's got their own flow. But getting into this TARDIS again, getting with those dark colors. Now that the back of it is all dried out, I can get in with some of that dark stuff and putting in some fun drips. That purple through that cerulean blue looks really fun, how it drips through like that. And on the main TARDIS up above it, I'm putting in a dark green from that blue. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the TARDIS actually has a little glowing police box sign. And I am not good. I am not good with letters. This is me right now. I'm just covering all that up. I'm just like, you know, I'm more interested in the main form of the TARDIS, not necessarily the lettering. Lettering is tough. I've got a lot to learn with watercolors, and lettering is one of them, because I just do not have that steady hand. If you notice what I'm doing so much on here is this kind of motion. You know, I'm not using one stroke to make my lines. I'm making like 4 or 5 to make my line. And that makes it, me as a painter, not as apt to making those really detailed line works. And I made a mistake here, but I'm making up for it. I blew on it to make that right side, and some of that blue came up at the top of the main TARDIS there. That was a little bit of an inconvenience, but I'm going to work with it. Getting in some more with the window details. Now that that yellow is dry, I can get on over it with a dark blue. I'm using that cerulean blue as well as that dark blue that I have. Kind of creating a little bit of light tone in those lines. Not necessarily a huge thing, but it's kind of fun to me to, whenever I've got something that I need colored or painted, I try and do a transition, you know, some sort of two colors to represent it as opposed to just one. And if I can get away with more than that, I do. Because I just think it's funner to have layering of colors. It just looks better to me. And it creates a sense of lighting in a funky way. This is getting really close to being done. I'm doing a lot of the fine touches on the line work up at the top there, and getting in just a little bit more with some of the splattering up at the top. I decided I wanted to do some splattering on the main thing, but I had to wait for all that other stuff to dry. So there's a lot of, you know, I did the left side, but not the right side yet, but I'm getting in there. Ooh, but I'm putting in some fun drips in the background. That's always fun. I really enjoy drips with watercolors. That's like my favorite thing to do right now. It's like I just go in there with a little bit of water and a little bit of a light paint, and I just get in there. And here's the last splattering right now. So that's it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think it turned out fantastic. Please like and follow. If you have a comment, I'd love to hear it. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you on the next one.